Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi, I'm back to our panel. My name is Muhammad Nasrullah bin Muhammad Khir with metric number CN190159. So today I'm gonna present regarding my final year project proposal. The topic that I've choose for my FYP1 is investigation of reaction temperature and retention time effect on mobile plant membrane photocatalytic reactor MPR performance for industrial dye wastewater treatment. My supervisor is Dr. Rais Hanizam bin Madun. So the outline or the part I will cover in this presentation is introduction, problem statements, research objective, research scopes, literature review, methodology, and expected result. We go through the first one, which is introduction. So I will cover on the background of study. Water. Water is one of the necessity of human life, despite dependence on electricity of sustaining life and living comfortably for a more extended time. And then wastewater, it comes from the wet process of the dyeing industry and is characterized by a high degree of variation in many parameters such as chemical oxygen demand (COD), pH value, total solid (TS), and biological oxygen demand (BOD), water usage, and color intensity. Wastewater treatment should be treated effectively before discharge, with effective removal of colorants to protect the environment and according to legal guidelines. So in order to treat the water, I use the membrane photocatalytic reactor. It is a green chemistry approach to the synthesis of various organic compounds. So this is the time frame or a flow of my study in order to achieve EQA 1974 goal or Environmental Quality Act 1974. So next we go to the problem statement. There are three problem statements that I state for this presentation, which are industrial pollutant, lack of technology, and the last one is a few research regarding pilot plant scale. Industrial pollutant is one of the major problems due to the impact on ground and water along with human health. The second one is lack of technology. After I've been read all the articles regarding the study, I noticed that the difference between this study and previous study, mobile photocatalytic reactor for this study can mix the dye wastewater and catalyst inside the equalization tank that I will further explain in the methodology part. The third one is a few research regarding pilot plant. So I noticed that research regarding dye wastewater treatment and mobile photocatalytic reactor, a lot research in lab scale compared to pilot plant scale. I think that is the problem that makes me choose this point as my problem statement. So the next one is objective. Altogether, I got three objectives for this study. The first one is to investigate the effect of reaction temperature and retention time on membrane photocatalytic reactor (MPR) performance on dye wastewater treatment. The second one is to characterize or to characteristic and analyze the quality of treated dye wastewater. The last one is to define the kinetic model of MPR's performance, which is yield over time. Next, I will go to scope of my study. There are several scopes, and these are the listed scopes I will present in this presentation. The first one is the range of temperature that I've been parametered is 40 degrees Celsius to 80 degrees Celsius with 10 Celsius interval, and the time retention I select is 0 to 60 minutes with 10 minutes interval. Next one is to evaluate the BOD, COD and color intensity ADMI as long as it's compatible with Environmental Quality Act 1974. Next is to develop a kinetic flow process graph of pilot plant MPR performance. The last one is I use the 100 liter MPR pilot plant capacity in order to conduct this study. Next is literature review. So the wastewater is a complex matrix containing significant concentration of solid TS, which been ranged from 350 to 1200 mg per liter, dissolved and particulate matter chemical oxygen demand, which is between 250 and 1000 mg per liter, microorganism up to 109 number per mil, nutrients, heavy metals and micropollutants. This been written from Warwick from 2013 back then. So there are 4 types of wastewater that I've been conclude in my study. The first one is for my industry, which is palm oil mill effluents. Next one is textile industry, poultry slaughterhouse, and the last one is domestic water. So there are several types of wastewater treatment. I choose for this study biological, chemical, membrane, and mobile photocatalytic reactor is one of the type of wastewater treatment. So as we can see here, this is the characteristic of textile dyeing wastewater. It focuses on the temperature, pH, BOD, COD, suspended solid, and the last one is color. So this is the optimization study of mobile photocatalytic reactor (MPR). After I've been read the articles, and then I noticed that there are several researchers that are doing experimental and also laboratory pilots plant for this photocatalytic reactor. So this one is I conclude the first researcher use experimental, and the second researcher use laboratory pilot plant. The parameter for the first author, they use removal of organic micropollutants from water, 3 to 5 hours of retention time, UVC radiant power per unit volume, and maximum capacity of MPR is 1.2 meter cube per day of treated water. The last one is they using process of heterogeneous photocatalytic and membrane separation. In the other side of the second researcher or second author, they use various dilution of solid dye wastewater, which are 0%, 50%, 70%, 75% dilution of SDWW or solid dye wastewater. And then the operating temperature was maintained at 25 degrees Celsius by chiller. It also irradiated by UV light for 20 minutes. Pressure that been parametered from the second researcher was 3 to 6 bars. And then both researcher or both author use MPR, which is mobile photocatalytic reactor. The first author used titanium oxide with concentration of 0.5 and 0.75 gram per liter. The second one used type of catalyst zinc oxide, polyethylene glycerol nanoparticles. Then the membrane used for the both researcher is ultrafiltration and pipe resin amide type ultrafiltration membrane. Reaction time or retention time from the first researcher 0.5 to 1 hour, and second one is 0.5 to 1.5 hour. Optimal condition, system reach steady state condition after 30 minutes. And then the diclofenac or DCI percentage removal tends to slightly decrease at the end of the experiment. For the second researcher is pH. Optimal condition for pH is 11, and then ZNO PEG nanoparticles 0.1 gram per liter, and then the optimal condition for this study from the second researcher is 1.5 to 3 hours. The result give DCF removal varies between 56 to 100% and 52% of the OC removal. COD and electrical conductivity degradation from the second researcher lower compared to the original SDWW, solid dye wastewater. Next is the methodology part. So this is my flowchart of this study. The first one I start with the project title selection and then finding the articles. Next one is I do the gap analysis, identify the parameter, I did the Gantt chart, identify method, development of standard operating procedure or SOP for MPR, then did the pilot plant commissioning. If it's approved, we move to the material preparation. If it isn't approved, we back to the pilot plant commissioning. Next one is in material preparation, we prepare two types of material preparation needed, which are textile dye wastewater and catalyst. Next one is operating MPR, which can generate concentration of dye wastewater, BOD value, COD value, and color intensity. The next, we move to the data collection and analysis. If we get the optimum, we move to the proposal writing. If it isn't optimum, we collect the data analysis again, and then after that it ends with final documentation. So this is the process flow diagram of MPR mobile pilot plant. So we insert the raw material inside the raw material feed tank, and dosing tank we put the catalyst. It will mix in equalization tank, and then the mix or the stirred solution will be transferred to the photocatalytic reactor. In this photocatalytic reactor, it will install 9 units of UV lights, which can be used in 4 units, 5 units, and 9 units of UV lights. And then the aeration module will be continued in this reactor. Then it will go through the hollow fiber membrane module, and then it circulate in order to produce degradation of dye wastewater. Last one is we collect the sample from permeate quantifying module to collect the data regarding COD, BOD, and color intensity. So this is the figure about membrane photocatalytic reactor MPR pilot plant with 100 liter capacity. This one is side view and front view. So this is dosing tank and feed tank, which is dosing tank we put the catalyst, and feed tank we insert the raw material feed tank, which is dye wastewater from the textile industry. From the left of the slide, it shows photocatalytic reactor, where the process of treatment occur, and from the right of the slide it shows equalization tank, which we put the raw material and catalyst inside this tank. This one is membrane. As I stated just now, we use membrane type of hollow fiber, and then permeate quantifying module that we collect the sample to record the data. Next is the design parameter. So reactor components of the type of reactor used is batch type. UV light use UVC type. Reactor capacity used in this study is 100 liter tank. Membrane system, hollow fiber, ultrafiltration type of membrane, and temperature of operating temperature between 20 Celsius to 100 Celsius, and then retention time regulate up to 24 hours. So next is expected result. So there are 3 points that I have been expect from this study. The first one is the MPR parameters such as reaction temperature and retention time will be studied and recorded. The second one is usage of different wastewater industry to be explored. And the last one is using different concentration of catalyst in MPR experiment in order to produce better treated water. So this is my Gantt chart. As you can see here, the blue is planned Gantt chart, while the green one is actual Gantt chart. I think that's all from me. Thank you.